Hello and welcome to the third tutorial for Buffy and Crochet. Today I want to show you how to make a granny square coaster. I think this is so cute and it's so pretty and it's not difficult to make at all. So what you will need is a tapestry needle to sew in your ends like we learned in the last video, some scissors, which these are a little big. I don't typically use this big of scissors, but I think my smaller ones are downstairs. And I'm going to be using this 4mm hook today. So let me move my scissors and my tapestry needle out of the way, and let me show you what yarn I'm using. This is Lion's brand 24/7 cotton, and it is a 4 medium, just like the yarn we used in the last video. It was a 4 medium as well, and this says it calls for, you cannot see it, it does call for a 4mm hook, so I am using the correct hook. And all that can always be found right here on your yarn label. They will have the size of the yarn. They will have, if you knit, they will have the needle hook, and if you crochet, they have the hook for the crochet hook. So always look, especially if you're going to be changing colors, you want it to be close. You want it to be in the same weight. It may not look as good if it's not. So, but if you're following a pattern that calls for something different, then definitely follow what the pattern says. But anyway, this is Lion's brand, and this color is Pink Lemonade, or Lemonade Rose. That's a pretty color. It's not too pink. And then for my border, I'm using this Yarnspiration Patons Grace. It is a 3, and it is a light, not a medium weight, but it's on the border, so it's okay. And it is natural, is the color of this one. But I had both of these, and I thought they would look good together. So we have a pink lemonade and a natural for the border. And I have to show off my yarn bowl. Isn't it pretty? I love it. A dear friend of mine who helps me. She helps me load my blog. She helps me load the YouTube videos. She bought me this yarn bowl, and I love it. And I'm going to be using it today while we are making our coaster. I'm just going to set these yarn labels over to the side, and I am going to go ahead and start and show you how to begin. So, as we begin with all of our granny squares, or I do them this way. Some people start with a chain. I like for my granny square to not have a hole in the center. I like for it to be closed. So I do it this way. So again, you have your tail. I'm going to try to zoom in. Okay, you have your tail. You're going to wrap around. Leave your tail hanging. You will wrap around your 3 fingers, leaving your pinky loose. Cross over because your pinky is going to grab this. Again, go through grab the first, underneath the first yarn, grab the second, pull it under as you do, twist, grab from the back and pull it through. Now you have a magic circle. so grab your yarn and make sure it's the yarn that's attached to your skein and not your tail. If you start with your tail, you will run out quickly. So we're going to chain 3. 1, 2, 3. We are making 2 more of these. This is the double crochet, double crochet. Okay, so your chain 3 was counted as your first double crochet, and then you made 2 more double crochet for your first cluster. And I want to chain 2 because I am making corners. We want 4 of these, 4 clusters, so we need 3 more. Here's 1, 2, 3. Chain 2. And again, we need another cluster. 1, 2, 3. And chain 2. Because these are corners, chain 2s are corners. So we have 1, 2, 3. We need 1 more cluster of 3. 1, 2, 3. All right, so I'm going to pull my tail. There it is. So there's 1, 2, 3. I have to chain 2 to make my 4th corner, and I'm going to join with a slip stitch here at the top of that first chain, which counted as our first double crochet. Pull the yarn through and then just pull it through that loop, and we have successfully made 4 corners. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Always fun. Relaxing. Granny squares are relaxing. That's what I like about them. Alright, so I am going to slip stitch. I want you to know I'm still thinking about that top, and I'm not sure if I'm going to go with making shoulders and sleeves, or if I'm just going to do a tank top type of sleeve. But I will let you know. Alright, we're in the corner, so we're going to do 1, 2, 3. We have to do 2 clusters in the corner and chain 2 between them. So there's my first one. I chain 2. I do another cluster. There we go. There's our first corner. And as you can see, my yarn is sliding out of my bowl very nicely, if I can get it to you. Very nicely. I have zoomed in so you can see better, so you can't see my bowl. So anyway, we are on an edge, so I chain 1, and I am going to make another corner. 1, 2, and 3. It's a corner. Yes, chain 2, and another cluster. 1, 2, 3. So we have 2 corners. All right. See, my tail wants to get in my way, so I'll keep it pulled to the front so I don't get tangled. Chain 1 because we're on an edge, and back into the corner. 1, 2, 3, chain 2, 1, 2, 3. There's the 3rd corner. We're on an edge, chain 1. All right, back into the next corner. 1, 2, 3. First cluster, chain 2. Back into 1, 2, 3. All right, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4 corners, which is what we want. and since we're on an edge, we chain 1, and we join the top of that, chain 3, pull through, pull through. Now they're joined together. Alright, so you can see it is going to grow into this. We actually just have one more round because we have 1, 2, 3 rounds and then our border, and we've done 1, 2. So let's do one more round and then we'll practice, because you've already learned, we will practice how to attach another color and we will make our border. So let's slip stitch over to the corner, pull, pull through, the yarn goes into these top 2 stitches, grab the yarn and pull the yarn through. And let's do that into the space. There we go. Again, like always, chain 3, 3, do 2 double crochet to make the cluster, 1, 2, chain 2, and 1 more double crochet, 1, 2, 3. There's another corner. You all are doing great. So now that we're on an edge, we chain 1. Look, there's our space. We have our space. Here's our corner, here's our corner, and then there's this space in between. So we put a, yes, 1 cluster. 1 cluster on the sides. There's 1, 2, 3. We're on a side, chain 1. Now we're going to a corner. We do 1, 2, 3. It's a corner, chain 2. Again, 1, 2, 3. There's our second corner of our 3rd row, and we're on a side, so we chain 1. You got it. All right, corner, corner, space, 1 cluster, 3 double crochet, chain 1. Here's our next corner, 2 clusters joined by chain 2. There's our first cluster, chain 2, next cluster. All right, we're on a side, so chain 1, corner, corner, space, 1. Whoops, I got too quick, didn't I? 1, 2, 3. That's 1 cluster. Chain 1 because we're on the side. We're getting ready to make our last corner. 1, 2, 3. Chain 2. 1, 2, 3. We're on the side, so we chain 1, and into this last space we do our last cluster. 2, 3, chain 1, and then we're going to fasten off into that top chain of that chain 3. There it is. You can see it's the same size. It looks smaller because the border's not on there yet, but it is the same size because I use the same yarn and I use the same hook. If you use different yarns, if you use different hooks, that will change the size of your project, but they are the same. also your tension. Alright, so let's cut the yarn. And I'm going to put my hook back through my loop, and I'm going to pull the yarn through, pull all the way through, pull tight. That'll make a little knot. Also, I want to show you on this pink yarn. Let me show you this other granny square. I don't know if you can tell on this is more stiff, which I like for a coaster. This is cotton. It is very, you can see how it very easily moves around, and I can twist it up real easy. It's very, very soft. This isn't going to give as much. There's not as much give in it. So, you know, when working with this yarn, and remember this is the Lion brand 24/7 cotton, I think this yarn is more stiff. I don't like to wear it, but it's good for making coasters. If you wanted to extend this and make a placemat, I would always use cotton for those things because they wash up well and they absorb. And two, if you know in the kitchen you can get heat on things, acrylic will melt. Cotton will not. So both of these are beautiful. I would be more apt to wear this cotton, and I'll show you what that is. I have some here. It is this. It is Kobu or Kabu, I'm not sure. It is also Lion brand, the Lion brand yarn. It is just softer. It is a 3 light, where this is a 4 medium, but still the softness would be different. I have some other cotton yarn. Here we go. This is softer. This is from Walmart. This is a 4 medium, and this would be softer than the Lion brand. This is just Mainstays is the name of it. Hobby Lobby has a yarn that is very soft, like this one, and it is called, I'm trying to find one if you hear me making noise, and it is called I Love This Yarn. I love this cotton. It's called I Love This Cotton, but it's in a skein about this size, and it's 100% cotton too, and it's soft like this as well. This is another, and these two yarns I would make if I was going to wear something, if I was going to make some clothing out of it, or if I was going to make a shawl or anything like that. This yarn is really good if you want to make a coaster, if you want to make, I can't think of it. I just said you put your plate on it. What is it called? You know what I mean. If you want to make one of those, a pot holder, you can use that too. This is another one, Peaches and Cream. It's not as stiff as the Lion brand 24 cotton, but it's not as soft either as your Mainstay or your I Love This Cotton yarn. These I like to make pot holders out of. I have not created my own, but I have used other people's patterns to make pot holders. Particularly no, I think it was from Daisy Farm Crafts, but if I have it wrong, I'm sorry. She has some real pretty ones. But back to this, we need to add our border. So let's sew the ends in quickly. Oh, I'm tangled. Okay, again, make sure your center's pulled very taut so that there is no hole to see through. I just particularly don't care to see it. Now there are some times you will want to make a granny square and you will have a hole. I have an example of one here. I'll show you as soon as I get this in. And since I've already shown y'all how, I hope you don't hear my husband. He's sanding. I'm going to pause this and finish, and then I'll be right back. Once I have done that and I pull this tapestry needle off, then just snip the yarn next to it. Now you can't even see it. Okay, I have another pink thread again. We are going to, whoops. So I'm telling you, I don't like to thread needles. They're not very fun. But the larger eye helps, and it would probably help me even more if I wore my glasses to see it. But again, just anywhere within the same color. If you don't have a lot of space, you can just keep going. This time I'm just going to go back and forth. There's 2 times, and I'll probably just do 3 times on this. And then snip it very close, and then the same I will do with the gray. Into the gray, not the pink, because you want it to blend. You want it to become invisible. And you don't take it all the way through the front. You just keep it in those back loops. And then back again. Very nice. And one more time for good measure. And then snip it. And then we have one more gray where we tied off. I think that's pretty. I like the pink and gray. I might make a couple more of these later, because it doesn't take long to work them up. And then I'll show you how to join them. And you can make a scarf. You can make it, again, in whatever colors you want. You might want to make it in autumn or Christmas colors, or they have some real pretty yarn that is variegated in Christmas colors right now. Alright, so there we have made it. And then here is the other pink one, which I need to sew those ends in, but I will. And what I'm talking about is, you know, we can join them together. You can do 2 pink, let me zoom out. Here we go. Alright, you could do 2 pink, 2 here, and make your scarf, yeah, that wide. Or you could do the alternating colors, the pink, the alternating colors. I'll make 2 more of these, of each, and I'll show you in another video what I'm talking about. And you can make your own scarf just by knowing how to do this. Very easy. Before I say goodbye, I do want to show you. I showed you this a moment ago, and I have 2 of them. I have 2 of these that I have made exactly the same way as we just did. So I would like to, here's my other one. I need to sew the ends in. See, this is what happens when you get lazy and you don't sew your ends in. I would like to put these back to back. and I want to make a top out of them. So I need to figure out, I think that would be pretty for the fall. I need to figure out if this is going to be over the shoulders, if I want to make more granny squares like this out of this color and have the shoulder come down, or do I want to have it just come up with granny stitches and make a strap similar to, I guess, a tank top strap, but maybe wider on each side, and your head would go through here, and then I would join the stitches on the side, join these together. I'm thinking on what I'm going to do here, and when I do get it figured out, I will show you, and I will show you how I did it. All of this is made out of cotton yarn. What we just made is made from acrylic yarns. This pink yarn is from Red Heart Super Saver, and it did call for a 6mm hook on this, and this is, there's 364 yards in here. A 6mm hook, and here, and it is a medium 4. Yeah, there we go. It is a medium 4 yarn, which I use a lot. Now the gray that I used is, I love this yarn. There you go. I love this yarn. This came from Hobby Lobby. I think my Red Heart Super Saver probably came from Walmart. But I love this yarn, is the name of it. It is called Gray Mist. Yeah, I don't think you can see it. No, that did not help. So anyway, trust me, it is called Gray Mist. I'm in it, and of course I've had this for a while, so the grays may vary in whatever lot you get them from. But this is a very soft yarn. That is much softer than the Super Saver. The Super Saver is just a little bit scratchy. Not scratchy. It's just stiffer. It wouldn't be scratchy if you wore it, but it's just a little stiffer than this yarn from Hobby Lobby. But they're both are acrylic yarns. 100% acrylic with the pink, and 100% acrylic with the gray. Now the gray did call for a 5.5mm hook, and I just, since they've called for different hook sizes, and you can see here that, I mean, the yarns are, the pink may be a little thicker, but they're pretty close. I just went with a 5.5mm hook for the gray, what it called for. And that's what I did. And granny squares are really great to make with just yarn that you have around the house. Especially if you're going to change the colors, because you don't need as much yarn as you would if you were doing the same color for the whole thing. Alright, I want to thank you all for tuning in. I hope someone is tuning in. And I'm going to show you how to make a granny square coaster in the next video. So please come back, and I will make a couple more of these, and I will show you how to join them together to make a scarf. And until next time, I hope you all have a blessed week. Thank you, and bye.